I like about
Biblios.
3 things I like about 3 things I like about
Biblios, Quill and Parchment.
3 things I like about. Hey everybody, welcome to my 3 things I like about Biblios, Quill and Parchment. This is a roll and write, and I can't wait to share with you those things I really enjoy about this game. I'm going to jump right into it. The first one is the way the first half of the game functions. So this game is divided into 2 different parts. There are 8 total rounds, and in the first half, the first 4 rounds, players are individually rolling their dice and kind of just playing by themselves simultaneously. During this first phase, when players roll dice essentially by themselves, what they do is they gather all of their dice. They get 3 book dice, 2 influence dice, and 1 travel die. They just roll all of them, and then they all get to decide and reveal at the same time how many dice they're going to re-roll, if any. There are 3 choices that a player has. The first is, I want to keep everything I rolled because I really liked it. That means you got pretty fortunate and or you just like your roll, it works with your strategy. The other choice you have is that you would like to re-roll 1 die of your 6 that you just rolled. The third choice is you want to re-roll everything. You don't like enough of your dice that you would rather roll more than just 1. So all at the same time, players will do a 1, 2, 3 and throw a signal. And that signal is going to be a closed fist for I want to not roll anything, I'm done. They will throw a 1 pointer finger if they'd like to re-roll 1 die. And if they want to re-roll all the dice, they throw out a flat hand. And so it tells other players, essentially all at the same time, here's what I'm doing next. Now, players will just do the next thing. They will take either 1 die or all their dice and re-roll it. They can stop if they'd like to. Or they can continue with a 3rd roll of the same type. Now, if you did your I want to roll all my dice again, you have to roll all your dice again. And if you selected the 1 die, you can pick a die that may or may not be the same as the previous die selected in the second rolling phase. After 3 rolls, or when you choose to stop, players will then mark all the things they earned on the dice shown. Players will look at their influence dice, which are the white dice. They will add up the pips and just write that number in the current round. For every round after that, in the first 4, you will be adding those numbers together, so you will cumulatively collect as many pips as you can. You want to roll high on those white dice. For the book dice, players simply just mark down 1 spot for every symbol they see matching one of the 5 book types. And lastly, players will mark travel spaces on their map in the top center on their board. Every space they get is progress, but it also might give a bonus. That's the first phase. It's fun. It's just super fast. I like how it's individual. I like how you kind of get the Yahtzee 3 rolls, and I like that there are different choices to make. Re-rolling all of them, re-rolling 1 die, stopping when you're happy with what you've got, and just making progress on your own. That's half the game, and that half goes pretty fast. The second thing I like about Biblios is the second half. Now, if that first half is just too individual for you, guess what? The game becomes really interactive and competitive. And also the scoring is competitive as well to some degree. But this second half is really fun because everything you've built up with those influence dice matter because you are now going to be bidding for priority in getting new dice that everyone is essentially vying for. And that's where it becomes super interactive. So what you're going to do for rounds 5 through 8 is everyone's just going to roll 1 set of dice that doesn't include 1 of the book dice and 2 of the influence dice that you had in the first round. So what you're left with are 2 book dice and 1 travel die. That's it. And you put those in the selected areas where everybody can see. Now, each one of the rows that players can potentially draft is another bonus, which I like. I like that. There's some sort of advantage to collecting a particular column. Now, if you want priority, you're going to have to bid a higher number, most likely, with the collected white influence number that you have totaled at the very bottom of round 4. That's as many pips, that's as many bid points as you get for the rest of the game. If you have any of those influence points left over, divide by 4 and collect that number of victory points. So this interactive quality and the bidding nature of wondering, well, how much is my opponent going to bid to take a row that I might potentially really need to gain more book influence, to gain more travel spaces on my travel map? There are so many really, really nice elements to that second phase. And lastly, the third thing I like about Biblios, Quill and Parchment, is how simple and short this game is. There's some stuff here. This is not like a super, super basic roll and write. But when I say it's simple, there's so much wonderful iconography, and the choices you make on your turn are between usually 2 things. And you don't necessarily but you struggle with those 2 choices, and you really have to work on those majorities that you have in the book colors, because the first player to mark out an entire color of books gets a bonus point, and you're going to earn victory points for being the person who has the most of each one of those books, times the pips on the color dice in that second phase. Now, that to me is so interesting because you can change those numbers as part of your bonus action by taking a row. I'd like to raise the value of blue because I'm doing really well in blue, or I'd like to lower the value in pink because my opponent is doing much better and I want their multiplier to be lower. There's something that's just working really well in this game that adds nice strategy without just overburdening the player with excess choice. So that third thing I like is just how fast this game goes because of that just delightful simplicity. There's also a B-side to the player boards and to the collective board area, so that when you play this game again and again, there's a little bit of just a change up. There's some difference in what your game is going to look like and what your cathedral or your chapel path is going to look like, and your map for your travelers. It's really delightful. So 3 things that I liked again: the first half of the game, the way it functions; the second half of the game, the way that functions; and then thirdly, I just appreciate how simple and straightforward and short this game is. I can sneak it in and feel really good about it and have a fantastic time playing Biblios, Quill and Parchment. Now, there might be a drawback. The thing that perhaps you might catch on to or not enjoy as much is the theme is very light. The theme is not necessarily that strong, and I like theme a lot, but this game doesn't necessarily matter with theme. It's about monks and traveling and writing books and stuff, but I didn't use all the keywords for the game because it's thematic keywords, and really it's just about, you know, rolling your dice and putting your dice pips in the right spaces and gaining majority for those and really maxing out your victory point multipliers. It's nice looking and the boards are really nice, but the theme, you can take it or leave it. But I would take Biblios, Quill and Parchment in a heartbeat. So I hope you enjoyed my 3 things I like, and let me know in the comments below what you think and if you've played this game before. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. 3 things I like about
Biblios, Quill and Parchment.
3 things I like about
Biblios, Quill and Parchment.
3 things, 3 things, 3 things.
Biblios.